why RFG?
Why RFG?
So the Resources for Future Generations, or RFG, grew out of lots of discussions among many people who worried about how we're going to deliver the materials that the world will need, that people on Earth will need for the next 10, 20, 30, maybe 100 years or more, to give them the standard of living that they want, give them their basic ingredients of life, the things that they need to survive. And the realization that the planet is finite and we're going to have to find these new resources, we're going to have to treat them responsibly, deliver them effectively, and make use of them in a way that is sustainable going forward into the future. And so that idea blossomed into something which was, how do we talk about that subject? It's complex, it's difficult, many different facets. And so we should have a conference that draws many people together and really addresses those concerns in the context of young people, the future generation, the people who are going to have to deal with this in the future and whose lives are going to have to be sustained.
So who should attend the RFG?
So the conference is for people who worry about resources fundamentally. So that's all sorts of people, technical people, scientists, geoscientists, engineers, who think about the Earth and the finite nature of it and where resources are going to come from, and the people who actually currently work in delivering it and worry about how to do that in a sustainable way, or as sustainably as possible. But it's much bigger than that. It's not just the practical people involved in the technical part of the issue. It's the broader societal people who care. So that's people who live in and around resources, communities and First Nations and Indigenous people. It's governments who have to regulate and make sure things are done properly, but also need to make sure that resource extraction benefits the broader economy and as well as the local economy. And it's the people the users, at the end of the day, the people who use all these resources, the drivers of cars, the builders of planes, the developers of the latest new device that you're going to carry around, the new personal communication device or video screen or whatever it may be, that uses lots of raw materials and resources. Those are the people we need to attract to this conference.
And what is it? How can people get involved?
So we are, the wonderful thing about this conference is that it's a brand new conference. We have no fixed agenda. We have no particular group that we're reaching out to. We're reaching out very broadly. So we are accepting interest and volunteers across the full spectrum, from young people to seasoned professionals who can help us. And they can help us in many different ways, by delivering sessions, recommending sessions, proposing sessions, and ultimately delivering them, or by coming to the conference, writing abstracts, or working in groups to publicize the conference through all sorts of social media and other venues. So if people want to be involved, they can approach directly people who are involved in the conference, or they can go on our website to the volunteer tab, and we will find a home for these people if we possibly can. And when it comes to the conference, a year from now, just over a year from now, we're going to need a lot of help. So there will be lots of ways in which volunteers can step up and do great things for us.
Excellent. Can you elaborate a little bit on the grounded in geoscience point? So you come back to it often.
Yeah. So the reason that we have resources is because we live on this unusual planet called planet Earth, and this is our home. And it happens to be very different from any other planet in our solar system. There are probably other planets like it somewhere out there in the night sky, but the only planet we know of ultimately that looks exactly like Earth is our own. And it's done some amazing things through its 4.5 billion years of history. And one of those things is to concentrate resources to a level where we were able to ultimately recognize them and exploit them. So we have to understand how that happens so that we can continue to do that. And then the Earth itself, although it's a wonderful planet, has all these things, it's a fragile planet. It has a fragile ecosystems and an environment of the atmosphere and the oceans, and we have to protect those such that we can continue to live here and exploit the resources that we need to do it. So we need to understand everything about the Earth. So the Earth is the underpinning, the context of this conference. So we need people who can look at the Earth, explain the Earth, do research on the Earth, such that we can actually live and use the Earth in an appropriate manner going forward.
Okay. Where do you get your passion for this topic? What inspires you?
So I am an earth scientist. I'm a geologist, as I was trained. I love the outdoors. I love the rocks. I love the mysteries of the rocks. When I pick up a rock, I look at a rock, and every rock tells a story to me of how it got here, how it formed, where it came from, how old it is, where it belongs in the system that we call Earth. And I love trying to understand that and then explain that story to other people, because it's not only about how we use it, it's what we live on and how we interact with it that is so important. So yeah, just a touch passionate.
Yeah, and how would you quantify a successful RFG? What is it in it that when it happens, you say, yes, we got success?
So a successful conference, for all people who've been involved in organizing one, is obviously one that generates some revenue and breaks even and achieves the goals, the high-level goals of a conference in terms of attracting people to come to it. So that's the baseline success for me. But the real success for RFG will be if we get groups of people who normally do not interact with each other, from different sectors, from energy, from minerals, from water, from the environment, from society, from the earth, in the same venue, talking to each other about these issues and how we can solve some of the problems around resources. And in the process, generating a buzz that emanates out from this conference that attracts the interest of people more broadly to think about how they use things in their lives, where the metals and energy that they use every day comes from, and how perhaps they can do that better in their own way. So we want an excitement, a knowledge sharing, and a general buzz that pervasively gets to many, many people.
Okay, excellent.
Good?
Good stuff.